What's up, Wrestle Geeks? This is Big Mike here with the Countdown City Wrestlecast, joined today by one of my partners in crime, Tommy.
You.
And we have a special episode for you today. As you can see, we have a special guest joining us. She is a former Mission Pro Wrestling champion, a former NCW Women's Champion. You have seen her on WWE television, AEW television, NWA, and also WoW Superheroes Women of Wrestling. She is top tier Jazmin Allure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. But you did miss one. I am the current GCWA Women's Champion. Just gotta
Oh,
get that in there.
I apologize. Let's do it again. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so a lot of championships there. Um, Obviously, you've done a lot, and you've done a lot recently. But before we get to that, we want to go back a little bit and kind of talk about wrestling in your life. So, growing up, where did you grow up, and kind of where does wrestling come into your life at an early age?
So I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and I was that like annoying sister that would do whatever her brother, my older brother, was doing at the time, and he was watching wrestling. My dad watched wrestling, so it was always something that was on TV in our household. So I started watching probably around 4 or 5 years old, really young. I remember I was really, really young. I went to my first WWE event when I was like 5, and I just fell in love with it. Like ever since I was little, I've always wanted to be a wrestler, but it was something at the time like bigger than life. Like I didn't realize you could actually be one. They were just like literally like superheroes on
Sure.
TV. There was a time where I stopped watching it for a while. I remember I went to a show, and since it was in Orlando, um, the girls were having like a bikini contest, and I really was so excited to see them wrestle. But when they I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I should just take a break from watching this. And
Yeah.
then I came back. AJ was on TV, and I was like, wow, she's small like me, she's Hispanic like me. So that was motivating. And then once I saw the Four Horsewomen, that was really what inspired me to like start training here in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. And so the Four Horsewomen were some of your early inspirations once you got back into it.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't want to get you in trouble later down the road, but is there one in particular that, or was it just kind of all of them together?
In a perfect world, I would love to wrestle all of them. I love Sasha. She was also an inspiration and just like me getting into wrestling. But Becky Lynch, which is crazy. I said this story before. Like Becky Lynch, before I started training, I sent her a DM on Instagram
Oh, wow.
with this long ass message about how she inspired me so much. And at the end, I put one day I will wrestle for WWE. So then, when I had my main event match back in July against Tamina, she was there and she came back and she like hugged me and was like, you did really good. And I bawled because it was like a full circle moment, like
Sure.
before I training, like I messaged her and then I got to wrestle for WWE and meet her. And it was a lot of emotions.
Did you get a chance to bring that up, or were you just crying too much in the moment?
I was crying too much in the
Oh,
moment. I do want to like eventually tell her, but we'll see. If we have a match down the line, it'd be like a
sure.
cool storyline.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And so, when do you decide to look into training and getting into that part of it?
Yeah, so I moved out at 17. I became like independent and I was just doing school and work, like college, working. And it just got to a point where I was just so tired. I was like, I want to do more. I just don't know what it was. And I was like in kind of depressed, honestly, because I left home and I was like, is this even worth it? Like I left everything all behind and I'm just working and going to school. And then I started watching wrestling again. So I was like 19. I started watching wrestling again even more, and I just got even more inspired. I was like, I could do this. Like, this could be something I do as a hobby, just because I really love to do it. And I started training, and like, I'm not even joking. It was like love at first sight. Like once I took that bump, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like this is what I'm going to do. I was meant to do this. And that's just kind of how it started. And it was at an APW in Austin, Texas, that's where I started my journey.
Yeah. Tommy, any of those people there, are they after you or have they threatened you at any show, um, given your history in Texas wrestling?
Who's an
You know who?
APW? I can't say
You
no,
know
but
who
probably.
someone said, "Is that Tommy?" So like his name is Zach Taylor and he trained me at AAPW.
Oh my god!
And he remembers you because he'll watch my matches because he watches my matches and he'll give me critiques.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is that Tommy?" Like every single Mission Pro, he's like, "Is that Tommy? Are you talking shit to Tommy?"
And
Okay.
I know Zach Taylor. So yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy has a list of people, and you're on this list obviously now, that he's gotten into heated debates with at ringside. Probably also a list about the same size of people who wouldn't mind putting him through a table, injuring him, things
that
like
list is
that.
extensive. So.
I didn't think we were going to get into this so soon, but since you kind of mentioned that, jumping ahead a bit, and we'll come back to other things if you'd like, but that is actually where the joke of Tommy B and your fan came from. So back at Mission Pro Wrestling, Living on the Edge, it was that April show from last year where you were in the four corner main event. That was my first Mission Pro show. Tommy's ringside doing what Tommy does. And like I mentioned before the show, I had not seen most of y'all before. So y'all come out and Tommy's giving you the business. I think you came out with the Renegade Twins that day. But you were giving it right back. And I must say, from the first time I saw you, I was impressed because some people give it back to Tommy and then turn around and ignore him. And you would not back down. And Tommy doesn't back down to the point where I was in front row that show. I was like on the other side of the building in the back row yelling, Tommy, let them start the main event. And then the match happened, and I'm sure someone cheated because you didn't win. But after the show, I'm in line meeting people, getting autographs, and I'm in your line, and I'm second to go. And Tommy walks by. I'm next in line, and he goes, "You were going to waste money on her? Why would you spend money on her?" Yeah, and I was like, "Haven't met her yet, Tommy, but cool. Thanks for that." And ever since then, we just find different ways to bring you up and mention how much Tommy's a huge fan of yours because we get that reaction from him.
Yeah, Tommy's like my top tier fan. I appreciate
No!
that.
No! She said it on the
show! Tommy, we have picture proof. We have proof of you holding the sign.
That you made. I want that clear. That you made.
Did I force you to take the picture?
It's okay, Tommy. I'll print it out for you and I'll sign you. I'll give you an autograph, okay? Just for you, because you're my top tier fan.
I don't doubt at all that you'll do that. That's the worst part, because I don't doubt at all that that's going to happen.
Oh, that's too much fun.
Well, okay, I did. I brought this on myself.
Okay, but back to you. How long are you training before you have your first match? Do you remember?
Oh, I trained like 5-6 months. It was like pretty soon. I don't think I was ready for it, but I feel like you're not really ready for anything. You just kind of have to go out there and do it, and that's how you learn. But yeah, I was like 6 months in and then I had like 3 matches in, and COVID hit, so then I couldn't wrestle for like 8 months.
Yeah. And where do you come up with your name? I'm assuming you are not the child of Mr. and Mrs. Allure.
Jazmin is my middle name, so it is a name. Allure, I was about to debut, and since I was like still early on in my training, I really didn't have a name. I knew I wanted to be Jazmin, like my middle name. But I didn't really have like a last name or whatnot. And my trainer was like, no, you need a last name. And someone said Allure, and it just had a nice ring to it, Jazmin Allure.
Yeah,
But I wasn't planning on keeping it. I was like, okay, I'll just do it for this show and then figure out something down the line. But once I started getting like opportunities, which I'm so grateful happened really early on in my career, like AEW and then like, NWA and WWE, I kind of feel like I gotta keep it. And it's kind of like
sure.
I kind of like it now.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do those opportunities come about so early career? Because you've barely been wrestling like 3 years, and part of that was COVID time. So
Yeah.
you've accomplished a lot in a short period. How did those opportunities kind of come early in your career?
With AEW, luckily like Thunder Rosa was there, and so she kind of put me in through the door, got me in there. With WWE, they reached out. NWA, I like knew somebody there, and they were like, "No, you need an opportunity here." Wow, obviously, like AJ was the one that got me in there. She
Oh
thought
wow.
I'd be a great fit. So
Cool.
luckily, I know a lot of good people in this business that have helped me out.
So where do you meet AJ for the first time? Because I mean, that's a pretty big name in wrestling. Period.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to train with her a little bit,
Okay.
before I got to WoW. Um, just like she didn't train me, but we were just like in the ring, rolling
Yeah.
around. So that's where she saw me and she was like, "No, I think you're really talented. I think you'd fit in WoW." And I'm so grateful because she was the one that got me the contract there. I call her my godmother because I manifested a wrestling contract for a while, and
Right.
she was the one that like made that come true.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because we followed a lot of them obviously for a while. She has a list of wrestlers that she basically considers her kids, the ones, and I believe you
Yeah,
were one of those that she posted. Uh,
yeah.
that you just kind of take them under your wing, under her wing, and have kind of mentored and helped out.
Yeah, no, it's surreal. I watched her on TV, so for her to like take me under her wing, and she's like such a mother. Like when I was training and I didn't put elbow pads, and so then like I scraped my elbow like on the mat, like I got a mat burn
Yeah.
in the ring, and she's like, Jasmine, what did I tell you about elbow pads? And then she was like putting the band-aid on me, helping me out, and she's like, remember,
That's good.
wear your elbow pads.
That's awesome. Also, the guy who was on the show earlier, not Ted, but JC, the one who had the kids,
Mhm.
him and his wife, big AJ fans. So, if we can ever get a little message through to them, that'd be really cool. Just
Oh
next
yeah.
time you're out there doing wild stuff,
For sure.
if possible. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll try.
Awesome,
Nice.
awesome. So you've already kind of mentioned people that you have mentored you, you've looked up to. Are there any other people that you kind of give credit to, or that you've made good friends with, or people in the business that you really appreciate being around?
For sure, Jazz, a legend. I also grew up watching her. I was a big, big Trish Stratus fan when I was like 5, 6, really young. She was
Right.
the first one that like got me into wrestling, Like I
Sure.
saw her on TV and like WrestleMania DVDs, and she was the reason why I fell in love with this.
Right.
And she was getting beat up a lot by Jazz.
Yeah.
So to be able to train under Jazz, to be able to train under Jazz was like incredible. Like I'm so like she's still a mentor of mine, but that was for sure a dream because I saw her growing up and she has so much knowledge. Like she's been in this business for
Sure.
like ever, and she's like a legend. So to be able to learn from her has been amazing.
Yeah. Um. So, especially with Tommy here, you have no problem going back and forth. You seem really comfortable being a heel, a bad guy, being
Yes,
okay
she
with the
does.
crowd booing you. Would you like to finish this question, Tommy? Or
No. You're doing great. I made a. I was thinking about something. I saw a bird in the room. I was looking at it.
sure, just wanted to thumbs up that
Speak up,
statement.
Tommy. Speak up.
uh, how did you become so comfortable being able to do that? Did it come easy for you? Kind of being able to get, yell back at the fans, be a heel, if you will.
Dear, I was such a baby that I want to be a heel so bad. And I feel like it's over for y'all, I guess it comes easy, but not really like in real life. I'm to be something I'm like not. Basically, me times like 100 to be like there is really fun. I really like my life, especially with my top tier. It's honestly so fun.
Yeah, I mean, we could Mission Pro could have a compilation uh, video of just the times you and Tommy are going back and forth at each other.
Oh God.
Although I
Yeah.
don't know if he wants the inclusion from the last show where he is clearly shown on video cheering for you. In
Gee,
that
and
main
who
event
took
match.
that video? I can't for the life of me remember who recorded that.
Let's go, Jazmin. You got proof, guys. Tommy is chanting, let's go, Jazmin. We have the video now.
Tommy, do you have any specific questions you would like to ask of your favorite wrestler?
Your
I know it might
idol.
be hard for you to speak, but I believe you can do it.
You know, I will ask something, and I'll be serious for a minute because I can be, despite things. So, but in all seriousness, with Mission Pro being such a not, I'll say a young company because it's only been open since 2019. At this point, Jasmine, you're a mainstay. You're one of the big names in the company, and even though it's a newer company, Mission Pro's been making waves. How do you feel about being one of its biggest stars and absolutely one of its biggest success stories?
Honestly, it feels great just because if you know my story at Mission Pro Wrestling, like I started off like I was not booked on the first show. I came and paid my dues. I was setting up and I was helping out. And then, you know, Thunder Rosa came to me and was like, "Hey, would you like to do a match?" And Holiday, that's why like it meant so much to have like a storyline with her because at least to me because if Holiday would have said no, which she could have, she had the every right to be yes or no, but she said yes, I'll do the match with her. If she would have said no, I would have just done nothing, and that's really where like my career started with Mission is doing this like dark match with Holiday and still working my way off because I still didn't get booked on the next shows. I was still showing up and paying my dues and then maybe get put into random matches. And that was like me the first couple four shows, 3 or 4 shows, and working my way up to like a title match, then winning the title, then losing, then working my way up again. So to be like one of their biggest names and like on like their official roster, it really means a lot to me because I've started from the bottom. And to be doing this in Thunder Rosa's company, Mission Pro Wrestling, where like the locker room is great, they have, such a great environment and exposure just means a lot.
Awesome, awesome. That was my main question because I really do remember the first few shows where you know where I would see you, but then when like the shows were in Conroe, I couldn't really make that drive all the time. But then
Mhm.
just to see your come up was awesome. I'm being completely serious. All the joking and
Yeah.
stuff aside, it really has been awesome this rise out of you because when I first saw you, I remember thinking, oh, she's pretty good. But to see you come out of that shell and to be this, and oh, you know what? Fine, I'll give it to you. You're a top tier heel. I'll give you that 1,000. But you're so good at it because usually when I like mess with any wrestler, my favorite people are the ones who can give it right back to me, if not better. And you have definitely become that. Like I put you up there with Lance Archer because I hate him. I'm kidding. I don't hate him. Please don't tell him I hate him. But no, you're really up there because for all the flack I give you, you're so adept to giving it right back. That's why I was like, I gotta respect that because she's not afraid. I like that. So
Thank you,
Uh,
Tommy. Deep down, I knew you were a top tier fan. Somewhere deep
I'm gonna
down,
regret. I'm gonna
I
regret
always
every
knew
part of
that.
this interview. I'm gonna regret every part of this interview.
You,
Literally before the day's out, I'm gonna regret this interview.
you know what, Tommy? That was so nice and honest. I'm not even going to make any jokes for a while because that was so honest and heartfelt. I'll leave
Well, I
that alone
appreciate
for a
that.
bit. Um,
Yeah.
but kind of going on the fact that we were talking about you being a heel early and what Tommy was saying, I don't know if you remember this, but at the last show, um, after the events of the main event transpired, we were right there in the front row, and you were right in front of us, and I had your shirt on as you
Oh yeah.
were going back at people, Rashayan in the ring and whoever was in there. And Tommy, of course, had started in with boo, how dare you? And I was sitting there and I was like, and kind of joking around, like, couldn't you have waited till after the match to deal with your differences? And you turn on me and you were like, I'm not gonna wait for anything. I was like, whoa. I was like, my bad. I'm gonna because as someone who has grown up with more than enough Hispanic women in my life, I know when to shut up and be like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah,
But
don't mess with Latina women. You cannot do that. Don't mess with us.
no.
Yeah.
I have two sisters, and my parents would always be like, "Oh, you got to take care of your sisters." After a while, I was like, "I think I got to watch out for the people that mess with them
Mess with
because they don't
Yeah.
need my help. I need to make sure those people don't get hurt." So yeah. So I guess kind of close it in. What I mean, you're still so young in the business, barely 3 years in. What do you see yourself, or where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Or what's kind of the goal over the next handful of years?
It's so crazy. I think about this and I'm like, I always have like some goals and they manage to like come sooner, which I'm really grateful. But honestly, for next 5 years, I would love to be signed to a major company, AEW, WWE.
Sure.
I feel like I do really good in one of those companies. Hopefully traveling a lot, I want to go to Australia, Japan, Canada, the UK, and just wrestle everywhere and
Yeah.
learn from different places. That's really my main goal.
That's awesome. And that
Well,
really seems like you have a real love of wrestling. Go ahead, Tommy.
I
Oh, for
and
sure.
I was gonna say honestly, the more of your heel side I see, I remember thinking one time, I forget which match it was. It just university. I was like, because Stardom is one of my favorite promotions. Period. Men, women, I love Stardom, and I was just thought to myself, I think she fit in well with Stardom. I really think you could go there and be either Oedo Tai, Stars, Queen's Quest. I think you have the kind of intensity and personality that they would look for Gaijin wrestlers there. I think you'd fit in great in Stardom.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a dream of mine. So hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully one day, fingers crossed.
Of course. And I don't even mean this as a joke. If you went there, Tommy would 180 so quickly. He
I
would hit
probably
all
would.
your moves because he is legit. He's a legit fan of New Japan and Stardom. So if you wound up over there, he would legitimately become your biggest fan, shouting your
I
name from the rooftops.
Yeah, I would probably be the first one on Twitter, like just praising you for it, and yeah, and I would, and every piece of flack I would get for doing that, I'd be like, yes, I deserve it, but I'm also proud of her, so I can't say anything. So
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. It's definitely a dream of mine. So we'll see.
that's
Awesome.
awesome.
Uh, Jazmin, we thank you for joining us. This has been fun. Um, we know your next Mission Pro show is April 22nd, which is Edge of Glory. We also know you will be at WrestleCon over WrestleMania weekend signing and wrestling in a few matches. Do you have anything else going on coming up soon that you want to mention?
So March 19th, I will be in Buffalo, New York, wrestling, also working to get my championship back.
Former NCW. Is it Nickel City Wrestling?
Yes, Nickel
Yes.
City Wrestling.
And then you said you are the current champ. Is that the Gulf Coast, the one down in Corpus?
Yes. Also, March 24th, I will be wrestling Rachel Rose for my championship of course, spoiler alert, I'm gonna win.
Of course.
But still, come out and watch.
All right, that sounds good. Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. It was an immense pleasure to have Jazmin with us. Tommy, anything else before we go?
Yeah, just in all seriousness, like what we do at the shows is, just pure fun. It really is. But to be perfectly honest, what you do in the ring is phenomenal. It's fantastic, and it's been an honor and a pleasure to see how far you've grown. And I can't wait to see what else you do in the future.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're all very happy and proud for you. And legitimately, wherever you go over the next several years, we will be promoting, retweeting, sharing it out there. And if you do make it to one of the big companies, we are totally going to be replaying this interview in a couple years and using that to get as much clout as we can. So
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me, honestly. It was
Of
a lot of
course.
fun.
we appreciate it. And thank you
Glad you
guys
were
for
here.
joining us. With us today, we have top tier Jazmin Allure. We have Tommy,
Thanks all.
and I am Big Mike. And I don't know if she wants to join us, but we will end this the way we normally end our Wrestlecast with Pro Wrestling is Real. People
People
are
are
fake. Boom. Thanks, guys.